mini 10-minute masterclass right here on couples communication or communication with anyone close to you. In communication, we are speaking to not just somebody else, but we're speaking to a part of ourselves that we want to be seen. And so when we're using our voice, we're trying to pick verbiage or respond or react in a way that meets our core needs, our inner child needs, the parts of us that want to be acknowledged, want to be seen, want to be admired, want to be adored. And so as we are learning to communicate, everything is filtering through this experience of all the past experiences in our life. So a wide array of an experience. And whenever we get a certain energy from somebody else or a response or a word, it can bubble up different ages, different parts of self, where we revert back to shrink into, maneuver, mold into that moment. The nervous system remembers, the body speaks, the body keeps the score. All of that is stored within. And so when we're communicating, we have to attune and root back into this present moment. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. All right, so rooting into this present moment. If we can root into the present moment now, the intention is that I am going to listen and listen to hear versus listen to respond. If I'm listening to respond or react, it's likely that my past versions of self are gonna bubble up. If I listen to hear, it's likely that I can stay rooted in this present moment without as much of my past paradigms, my past stories, my past pains, my past challenges getting in the way. Yes, they're still part of our filter. We can never take that filter fully off. And yes, through meditation and through a lot of self-awareness, we can grow really skilled in getting away from any of our past paradigms, yet we're human beings and we get to be on this 3D field of a world because we are humans and we do have past experiences. So nonetheless, if you are looking to really hear, we have to slow down. And if we slow down, the goal is when you are listening to someone, all you are doing is hearing the words and stepping into their shoes, stepping into their shoes, stepping into their shoes. Not necessarily fully rooting in yours. Something else that happens in communication is people use the theme or the tool of relating really often. And we do that in our own ways as a coping mechanism to bypass their story and try to connect. We're trying to connect. We're trying to connect. We're trying to meet our inner child's needs by connecting to their story, by relating. This happens so often and it can dismiss actually what the person is saying. So just seek to hear, seek to understand, step into their shoes. And if you want to respond at the end by asking like, I'm really hearing this about what you shared and it's reminding me about something that I experienced, would that be helpful for me to share a little bit of how I resonate? Or they can say no and you can really just stay in their experience. It's really great to at least ask a few questions prior to going to this relatability pattern that oftentimes happens in our world because people want to connect, they want to feel seen, but again, it can shift the speaker into the other person's shoes when you were just trying to allow them to speak their truth, to share their story. So coming back to it, everything comes back to this lens, and when we can slow down and really step into each person having the room to be the speaker and each person having room to be the listener, it allows people to actually feel heard and both people to stop getting into this defense mechanism as well. So there's the mechanism of relatability, but there's also a massive defense mechanism that we use as a form of protection. And so when you are looking to have healthy communication, it's really about getting out of your own way, taking responsibility for your part. Say this is a conflict. How can you take responsibility for your part? Radical responsibility, but then really seek to understand the emotions that are a layer deeper for that person. What is that person communicating to you that they're deeply desiring? What is it that they're communicating that they had to endure, that they experienced that shaped them, that molded them into who they are today? What are they trying to communicate to you about a way that they're attempting to grow or a way that they're attempting to connect with you. Maybe that what they're communicating is some pain, and they're saying, you know, it really hurt me that you didn't clean up the dishes. And underneath that, you could say, does it feel disrespectful when I don't clean up after myself because I know like the cleanliness of the space is really important to you? That's probably all that they're trying to say. And yeah, it might be through a lens of a little bit of a tone of voice that feels frustrated, but underneath the dirtiness, what are they trying to obtain emotionally in their nervous system? Ask yourself that. Can you get out of your own way and just seek to understand? So those are some major things I see within communication. Oftentimes, again, when we're communicating, it's important to come back to the inner child and ask yourself, how were you modeled communication? Some families have a lot of silencing where not a lot of things are talked about and everything's pushed under the rug and everything is often expressed through a lot of perfectionism or things needing to look perfect from the outside. And if that's how you were raised in your family, maybe hard conversations and confrontation feels really uncomfortable. Or maybe you grew up with a lot of violence and a lot of everyone sharing their opinion and getting loud and expressive, and maybe that feels normal to you and feels good, or maybe that feels super stimulating and so you like to process things internally. So this comes to attachment styles. So attachment styles here play a role because it leads into this pattern of pursue or withdraw, anxious or avoidant. If you're in the anxious bucket with this person that you're in communication with, you might want to fix things right now. You need to go into the fixing mentality when you're in communication or when you're having a tough conversation, because it feels dysregulating to your nervous system to not be in a state of harmony. Or based on your inner child or what you're noticing from this interaction with this person, you might feel like, ooh, I need to process internally. I don't want to say anything wrong. I don't want to create conflict. I don't want to have them abandon me, or this is too vulnerable or too intimate. And so we're interacting with different parts of our nervous system, trying to find safety, trying to find ease, trying to find connection, trying to find, again, this maneuvering that happens. So our attachment styles are never fixed. It totally depends on the person across from us. And so notice in yourself, based on your upbringing, based on past relationship, or maybe based on some of the mannerisms or ways that this person across from you maybe reminds you of some other relationship you've had in your life, or mirrors to you a part of yourself that you haven't developed. I want to actually talk about that briefly in a second. So notice how this person might be showing you something, showing a developed part of self or an experience you've had in the past that brings up a response in you. And that's going to impact the attachment style that you can tend to lean towards within the relationship. When going to or talking about what somebody is mirroring to you, sometimes we can feel a nervous system response because how this person is showing up across from you, say they're really confident and you're feeling insecure in some way in your life right now or in relationship with them, it could make you feel small. Ooh, I'm feeling like I'm shrinking. And so notice that the shrinking might be an invitation, like it might feel like a lack of safety, but it might be an invitation, rather a mirroring of this person showing up really confidently, really sure of themselves in the words that they're using, their tone of voice. Maybe it's inviting me into more expansion with my communication, or they're mirroring to me their own smallness, but through this really loud and intense lens. I'm maybe nervous in my nervous system am feeling unsafe, and it's asking me to set better boundaries. So that's an example of how our nervous system might mirror to us a way that we're being asked to show up in a new way due to how we're perceiving somebody, or how somebody is utilizing a characteristic, whether maybe a healthier one or one that feels challenging for you. Everything is a mirror into a way that you get to choose, make conscious choice about how you're going to respond. So communication is all about responding versus reacting, listening, stepping into somebody else's shoes, and looking at the inner child attachment parts and ways that you are being asked to step up deeper. Happy communicating.